I'm Cameron Airley from NG Farrer Real Estate, and I'm here today with local legend Mike Whitney. How are you, Mike?
Local legend, thanks, Cam.
No, you're all right, buddy. You've obviously got plenty of titles, Australian cricket legend, you're on Who Dares Wins, Sydney Weekender and Gladiators, to name a few. You've obviously been a very busy bloke over the years.
Yeah, I never thought it'd turn out that way. And just sitting here with you, I need to talk about this straight away. We're sitting in Cam's grandparents' backyard, and I grew up next door here in Matraville, and our family pretty much had that house for 60 odd years. So I've known your grandparents all my life, and I jumped that fence many times to get cricket balls, footies and tennis balls that landed in this backyard, over the fence and straight back over. So it's just pretty surreal sitting here with you, mate, in your grandparents' backyard.
Why we chose that location, to obviously bring it all together.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Mike, you obviously grew up in Matraville. What schools did you go to as a kid?
I went to Matraville Primary, which is still up on the corner there on Beecham and Bunnerong Road. There was a lot of sport there, and I loved it at school. We had a great time, and pretty much the core group of my mates, my really solid mates, are blokes that I met at Matraville Primary or went to school with.
You touched on sport a second ago, so I've got to go straight into it. How hard is it to break into an Australian Test team?
Yeah, it's a journey. Is it hard to get in the Australian team? Yes. My first two tests were in England, and I'd just gone over there to play some club cricket, played a few county games, and was pulled out of obscurity. So I got lucky for those first two test matches. I was pretty much the only person available in England to fill that spot because Rod Hogg and Jeff Lawson had been injured. So I bowled first change after Dennis Lilly and Terry Alderman opened the bowling, and they roomed me with Dennis Lilly. I mean, it was just bizarre, but it took me 6 years to get back into that test side because it's a really long, hard journey. You have to be so focused on what you want to do, sometimes selfishly. So there's areas in your life that you have to push aside to really focus on what you're doing with the cricket. In my day, as you could imagine, man, there wasn't a lot of money around to play cricket. So those sacrifices sometimes for everybody, I'm just not talking about myself, were seriously financial ones.
Still on sport, the best batter that you think that you obviously bowled to, in your opinion?
If you said to me, who was the one that just blew your mind first, it was Viv. You know, we talk about Viv now. Would he be a great T20 player? There wouldn't have been a ground in the world.
He'd be out of the MCG.
Would not have been a ground in the world able to hold him. He was so dominant, never wore a helmet. Got hit in the jaw, went like that one day. Yeah, that's cool, man. Put the cap back on and hit the next ball for six.
All sports, do you have a favourite sports person of all time in any code?
I had two heroes growing up. One was Dougie Walters. But the amazing thing about that was I got to play my first season of Shield cricket, and that was his last season. So I played with my hero in my first season of Sheffield Shield cricket. The other hero, my rugby league hero, was Johnny Sattler. And Johnny Sattler, of course, captained the Rabbitohs, but he was already my favourite player. And many, many years later, when I was playing cricket, I got given the Spirit of South Sydney Award, which was an award they were giving for people that didn't play rugby league but other sports. And I went over to South Seniors to get the award, and what I didn't know is that John Sattler had been asked to present the award to me, and I'd never met him before. And I was like 30, and mate, I was shaking walking up.
And obviously, getting away from sport, you've obviously had lots of shows, especially with all your travel and whatnot. You've been pretty much everywhere in the state and the country. If you had to pick a favourite place in NSW and one in Australia, could you do that easily?
No, there's too many. We have everything.
Everything's
in this state.
here. Yeah.
Everything
In one state.
in one state. You want to go and do anything, everything is here in this one state. So to pick one spot, I could pick 20. I could like that because they're so amazing. And when you go west and you get out into the bush and you go to Broken Hill, man, some of the dudes that live out in Broken are just amazing. And if you catch up with our Indigenous brothers and sisters out there, you think you're looking at nothing until you're with them and you're looking at this, and they'll show you. And this and this. And
Explain
this.
everything to you as well.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
So, Sydney Weekender has been phenomenal for my personal education and sucking up all this information for 27 years, yeah.
You're on Gladiators as a referee, which would have been interesting. A lot of testosterone, I would imagine.
Ooh, mate, they were big boys, and the girls were solid as well. Gladiators started, and John Alexander, professional tennis player. He was the first referee. And it was so successful that they wanted to do a second series immediately. And he had to go to Wimbledon. So they rang me up and said, we'd like you to be the referee. And I go, well, yeah, but I've got to change a few things. And what's that? John Alexander used to go, Gladiator, ready. Challenger, ready. And they went, yeah. I go, I want to go like this. Gladiator, are you ready? And they went, okay. So I've done the deal and signed the contract. That was extra money.
And you were doing that and doing Who Dares Wins?
Yeah, wow. Look, when
Tanya Zoeta?
Yeah, Tanya Zoeta was amazing. Tanya, we're still in contact. She's got twins now and little twin.
Speaking of twins, people may not know this, that you're one of the rare lucky people that have triplets.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of people know that.
But that wouldn't keep you busy, would it?
Well, they're 27 nearly now, so they're all doing their own thing.
Doing their own thing, yeah.
Boy and 2 girls, but yeah, when they were little, people say, what was it like when they were like 1? Can't remember. Yeah, blur, absolute blur.
This is a little bit left field. You've met some interesting people in your life. You've met Robert Mugabe. Yeah. What was that like?
Very interesting. We went on a couple of tours of Zimbabwe. In '83, I went on a young Australian under 25 tour to Zimbabwe. Met Mr. Mugabe the first time and had the afro then. And I remember shaking hands with him and he's looking and he must have thought I had some colour in me. So
couldn't figure it out why.
No, that's right. So we go back in '86 and Dirk Wellham, the captain of New South Wales, is introduced. He's come down the line. And I went, Mr. Mugabe? He said, I remember you from the last tour. I remember your hair like this. Well, I also remember when he turned up at the grounds on those 3 occasions, the security that was with him was unbelievable. There was 50 soldiers around the ground.
All strapped.
Yeah, and all amped up, ready to go.
And Mike, final question, obviously, apart from all of that we've discussed, you're obviously giving a lot back now. You're the president of Remick Petersham Cricket Club. Must be a lot of boys and girls, obviously, in that establishment. A lot of satisfaction doing that kind of role. Is it easy or difficult to try and pick the next kid who you think could go all the way?
Yes, it is, because when they're young, they may have talent, but you don't know what's in here. You may be the best player with the best record. That doesn't mean you're going to get selected.
Sure.
Because that's out of your hands. You may have chronic injuries that follow you through. If you get hit a few times on the hands and break fingers, that may inhibit you being the player you want to.
Mike, look, I really appreciate your time today. Definitely a local legend of the area, especially in the Remick Council catchment. Mike Whitney, thanks very much.
Good on you, Cam. My pleasure,
Thanks,
mate.
brother.
Thank you, bro.